Hey, this is Gocsy. Thanks for tuning in to another ep of Deep Dives. Hope you enjoy. Cheers.
So yeah, welcome Gocsy.
Hey!
What's going on?
Finally got here.
I know, he's fucking
Should we tell everyone what happened?
Let him know.
I got the train here and left. I had a bag of shirts, merchandise that I left at the train station, and I was like, "Oh, I'll let you guys know. I better go back and get it." And then it was still there, which maybe is says something about how hot I am right now. I think just no one saw it. Yeah, like,
it's just because it's like a plastic bag.
Yeah,
I suppose
yeah.
no one's like,
Did you do a stock take when you got the?
yeah, went through it.
fucking nice.
No, it's not hot like Nike shoes or anything. Yeah.
Not yet.
Yeah.
One day.
Not
One
fucking
day.
yet.
I'll
Dude.
do
How'd you
volleyball one
go at the Macca's stall yesterday?
Oh yeah, I set up a pop-up shop, but no one came. But
Oh, surely.
I think I do a lot of those silly things, and people can't really work out is it real or legit.
Nah.
But
set the record straight.
yeah.
real.
Well, was it real?
I didn't want to have to split my money with Ronald either.
Yeah.
I was gonna keep it
Ronald's
pretty
a
low
pretty
key then.
hard ass. He wants 40% of the take. Like,
Ronald's a
Can't stand that.
no, I shouldn't badmouth Macca's. They've been there for me. I was on my last trip down to Tassie. I didn't book in any accom in Hobart, and I just spent the night in a Macca's.
That's epic.
Yeah.
My sister
Did
did
you
that
fall
once in
asleep?
London.
Because they're great for like, you
She
know,
just
you got
slept
Wi-Fi,
slept under
yeah.
the fucking bench.
Yeah. I didn't sleep. I not properly. I just like probably a few little nod-offs, eye closers, but didn't do the lie down or anything.
Nah.
Yeah, but I
Pretty
mean,
economical.
They've got those
that.
like booths up the back, like nearly VIP. You
Yeah.
just fucking go and just lay
they're so
down.
comfy, and you got like I wonder if some of them have like got like PowerPoints and phone chargers, but I reckon they're kind of going away from that now, that they're like, that we've got to make it not that comfy that people want to do that. Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Well, people just live in a Macca's. Yeah.
The next step with beds, wasn't it? It was like it was really looking good for a while.
Dude, imagine that.
Could make it
Macca's.
into like a little
diversifying.
Yeah.
hotel motel situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bed and breakfast.
An Airbnb.
Diversify.
But there's some really unique Macca's kicking around as well. Like me and Benny always like suss out like a funny one. Like if there's one kicking around and it's like, I don't know, built in the 1800s or something. Like,
Yeah.
oh damn, this one's a really
Yeah,
nice
the
one.
Art Deco.
Have you seen the one in Clifton Hill?
Yeah,
Yeah,
she's
that
a
one's
beauty.
sick.
That's my favourite.
Right next to the brothel.
I love that one.
And my
Brothel right next door.
Yeah.
my mate told me about this thing. He's like, check out when you're in Canberra, and he's like, they all have a low signs, and I'm like, oh, you reckon? Maybe it's just one or two, but something to do with the laws there, I guess,
Yeah,
like
right.
advertising.
Dude,
Oh right, so it's
Yeah, so you don't see any of the, you usually see the big M on the post.
So you missed the turn off.
Yeah.
Yeah. The M1, literally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Canberra's actually pretty sick. We were there the other week, and actually,
Yeah.
I really liked it.
Yeah.
You
there's
played
like-
gigs there?
Yeah. It usually goes pretty well for me though. Like, I like it, and a few little quirky things. I like the cute little bus stops. The round. Have you seen that?
I don't think we saw it.
Oh.
So we went to the
looking out
Union
for
and
it,
Parliament
to be
House, and then
Well, it's one of those things where now I seem like a weirdo. Like if you'd seen it, it's like we can really connect. It's like, and now you're like,
I'm fucking
this
all
guy
ears
likes
now.
this guy likes bus stops. Like,
No way, I'm
I
fucking-
respect that you appreciate the finer things, you know? Like,
Look it up on
things.
Google, man. They're like round. They're just this big circle.
yeah, I'm fucking interested. now.
Yeah, but I like those things, like, because this is something that shocks a lot of people. Because I'm a bit of an old boy. I'm 37. Feel weird hanging around you young blokes, but but I've got my blue card. No, but so I'm 37, but I've never been out of Australia, and some people can't believe that.
Hectic.
So yeah, so I am interested. I'd love to one day. It just hasn't happened. But so the thing what I'm leading into is finding out little quirks between Australian cities and town,
Yeah.
because there isn't really that much. Like, you
Yeah.
hear about like England, like you can go the other side of town and different accent and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Like we got a little bit of different,
But it's not.
you go up North Queensland, it gets a bit nasal.
Yeah.
I'm probably a bit
I haven't
nasal
been up
myself,
there.
but you go right.
Banj is prime example.
Yeah,
Burns is in North Queensland though. He's Coffs Harbour, isn't he?
He's Gold Coast, I think. It's not quite North Queensland.
Yeah.
But
you know,
It's
you
got a bit
guys
of
don't need a
advice,
translator
yes.
when you're talking to like Brizzy bands. Or
we just always find people from the coast talk a bit differently.
Yeah.
But in a good way.
Have you done many
It's
gigs?
really nice.
North Queensland?
No, I haven't actually. I did Did a tour. There were two other comedians a couple of years ago. We did Rocky, Mackay, Townsville, and Cairns, and
Yeah.
yeah, I was like, but that's the thing. It's a huge state. Like
Yeah,
I'm
it's
from
massive.
Queensland, but
Massive state.
Cairns is actually further away in kilometres than Melbourne is.
Yeah.
Which is crazy, fact.
That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
mind blowing.
Yeah,
It is actually
so
pretty,
it's
pretty
like
full on.
I don't feel a real connection to like North Queensland. It's like
Yeah.
but
It's probably one of those places you go to and they're kind of grateful you're there too.
yeah,
Yeah.
You don't get too many, you know.
No, without a
Yeah,
doubt.
so I'd love to one day travel overseas, but that's all I've got so far is little
But-
differences. Like,
Well, you,
and I love
Yeah.
like because I'm a, you can tell looking at me, I love my feed, so I love like
Don't we all?
love the Adelaide cuisine and
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
They got got their own thing going, real
Yeah, yeah.
bakery sort of scene, and yeah.
In Adelaide?
Yeah, yeah,
shit.
which is they got 24-hour bakeries, which is cool.
You
Yeah.
That's
kidding?
fucking
Yeah.
interesting. Would have been
That's
handy to
very
know over there.
dangerous.
We were looking for food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not everywhere, but yeah, there's a couple spread out.
I'm going to have to fucking save it in maps or something next time
Yeah.
we're there.
so have you been to Harndorf in
I
Adelaide?
haven't. I've heard about that too.
Yeah, it's
but
like a
yeah,
little German town. They
'Cause
do like bratwurst, which are a metre long,
Oh yeah.
apparently.
Because that's what they say is obviously influences the culture is who settled there and that. So they had the like Germans and a bit of Italian and stuff and
Makes sense because
Yeah.
that place is really like European vibe. I like
Yeah.
it heaps.
yeah.
Nice looking place as well. Heaps of greenery and we actually went there on a. It's not that funny of a story, but it's like we went there after getting off the plane, coming back from Perth, and then we went to stay in Harndorf and we drove. It's like 15 minutes out of the city, and then we got the wrong place, so we ended up having to go back to Adelaide. So then we just had like food and then fucked off and had to go back to the thing, and we like nearly missed it. And we stayed in this like crack den kind of thing. It wasn't just like heaps of sketchy dudes walking around just
Yeah,
making
that's
noises
what-
and stuff.
It is funny with Adelaide because it either goes either way. Like it's either like really super posh
It's
or
one
like
extreme or the
super
other.
seedy. Like yeah,
It's a really nice bar. I fucking
because like
really love
yeah,
Adelaide,
people are like, oh man, my mate's from there and telling me like about Elizabeth, where like Barnsley's from, and that's where like the Holden plant, and it's like apparently like rough area.
We're
True.
And then you
class.
also get like super posh, like yeah. And then there's also like Snowtown and
Oh yeah, no
Yeah.
Isn't it
shit.
people from Adelaide, they pronounce their A's like,
yeah.
I'm very glad you're here. Like,
Yep.
They always say
There's-
dance is
Yeah,
the one.
dance.
With
Dance,
Castle
yeah.
and yeah.
Yeah.
But
Very proper. Very proper.
What's your favourite place in Australia?
oh, big call there. Well, I do.
He doesn't
obviously-
want to upset anyone.
Yeah.
I know hard feelings.
Well, obviously,
Like
like being
question.
from Queensland, so you always want to try different to what you used to. So I do like getting to the cooler parts for weather and that. I lived in Ballarat for a few years, so I've experienced
That's-
like coldest and hottest of Australia.
Fuck yeah.
But
but
yeah,
it's-
like just went to Tassie recently. It was beautiful, and
Whereabouts you go in Tassie?
well, I had shows in Launceston and Hobart, which
Yeah.
is great, and then also this other one in Ulverstone, which was like kind of tough. It was a tough show, but beautiful place, yeah,
nice.
I
and,
love Tassie, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm a
and
fan of Tassie.
I want to see it a lot more because unfortunately I've always been in and out when I've
Yeah.
been there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I caught a bus from Launceston to Hobart, so I saw a bit of the countryside.
Nice, nice.
I love old bridges and things. And
Yeah.
So it's like
There's a fair
one of the
few of
oldest in
those,
Australia. The bridge there is like from 1800.
Oh shit.
Yeah, beautiful. You know those ones that are like the big
With all the fucking.
rocks and stuff. Yeah.
Oh, with the rocks.
Yeah, yeah. Or they're not rocks. What do you call those?
Cobblestone?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
it. That's it.
I
Yeah,
know
yeah.
what you're talking about.
Yeah. So just they look cool, and it's like that thing of like, well, this has been standing for a long time.
Yeah.
Pretty
In
amazing.
history.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Definitely.
Nah, Tassie's so awesome. Like, I reckon when I get old, settle
Yeah.
down.
Go live there.
And like I
Fish-
said,
go
those
fishing.
little quirks you find out about like rivalry. Apparently, there's like a North versus South rivalry there. I think
we
those
we
things
met a
are-
couple of like guys there. One they were from Launceston, and then I was like, "Oh, he's from Hobart." He's like, "Nah, man, from fucking Launceston."
Yeah.
It was like,
How
"My
dare
bad."
you.
Don't get it
But he's
wrong.
a
Yeah. Yeah, there were these guys there at the Launceston gig. They're like asking me something about the beer from there, the Bogues, and they're like, "What? Which color?" There's like green. I don't know. I shouldn't say this. I can't remember exactly what I was there. Like, "Oh, yeah, is green or red your favorite?" I don't know, man. You know? But they were like really hassling me to decide.
yeah. Tell me.
So I'm like, I'll just pluck one out of the
Yeah. Red.
green, I guess.
Should
No,
just be
you
like,
said the wrong one. Like,
just get them both and.
yeah, but yeah, they're really lovely places, you know.
Oh
and-
man, Tassie's awesome.
Yeah.
Really love Tassie. I'd love to go back there on a road trip. Just go across on the Spirit of Tassie take the car, and then just
Yeah.
go to like some
Yeah.
the night, like Cradle Mountain or whatever it's called.
It's
Yeah,
like
well, I was
Mount Amos too. Is
My,
Is it awesome?
yeah, my original
Oh, that's
plan was
right.
to put my car on, and
Yeah.
then I left it too late to book, and it was sold out. But so I just got flights, but it probably worked out for the best because it is very exy putting your car
It
on.
is.
I've heard
it's
it's
expensive.
expensive.
The
Yeah.
boys wanted to do it for their little rendezvous last week.
Yeah.
I think it was like 600 returns, something.
Yeah.
Has it always been like that, or is
Yeah.
it just
It's just
recently?
expensive.
Because it
It's like
does.
got the monopoly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
they got
it's
the
probably like also like I don't know, uses a lot of petrol or whatever, or,
yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
and then
And also, like saying there's one.
yeah,
It's like you get on or you fucking don't, and then just
Yeah.
whatever, we'll charge whatever you want.
yeah, and the people who are going to do it are probably either like you need to move there or you need to do a road trip. So yeah, they
Yeah.
jump
And
on.
also, like, I suppose you save money with fucking hiring a car if you have your own car. Like, you don't have to pay for that. So that's maybe
Yeah,
they
yeah.
probably factor that in.
yeah, well
yeah, you
that
do.
was
Rental cars are
yeah,
expensive,
that
yeah,
was
really
my plan. I
expensive.
like having my car wherever I am, so I don't do stupid things like this.
yeah,
But that's part of it. I'm not used to public transport, so yeah, just
Yeah.
chuck things in the car. and-
yeah, it's
Yeah.
way better with your own car.
yeah.
I remember seeing you at, like, at the Brizzy gig, you were not drinking because you were,
driving.
was that right?
Probably.
Yeah. I remember.
We're not getting drunk. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, took that as like, you don't drink, and I was like, fuck, should I
Yeah.
offer him a beer? Is he recovering or something? Is he-
No. Oh, I'm not I'm not a huge drinker, but yeah.
We got a wild greenie here.
Hey,
He's been to the
and
Dirty
he's
Bird
bought
as well.
KFC for us all. What a man.
It wouldn't be for us, it's for Greenie. Not anymore, anyway.
So, what do you reckon of the audience or the crowd in each state? Anyone like
What's the most?
Yeah, well,
who's the funniest?
I'd like to. They all like go pretty. Bit of a boring answer, but pretty similar. But yeah, Adelaide seems to always go great.
That's been
Adelaide's
Um,
mint.
G'day, Green.
Perth.
Jake Green, what's going on?
Hey, how you going?
Good self, how are you?
Good to see you again. Yeah, good thanks.
Hey, dude, how are you?
Do you want a chair, mate?
G'day, Jake.
Yeah, I'll
Jump
eat
in.
first, I won't jump in, sorry.
No worries.
Jump in the middle.
No worries. Yeah. But yeah, the Brizzy gig was fun.
Yeah.
Mate, you're going off.
I'd love to
Yeah.
like just have this. It's a bit of a boring answer. I'd love to like have like one town to rip on, but it's pretty boring. Yeah.
North Queensland.
I could probably
Just
say
let it be there.
I like to leave a bit of a space before I return, so I can probably say this because I just did it on Sunday, but I always find Geelong tough.
Geelong, yeah.
Yeah.
There you
But
go.
they're nice. They're fine. Like just
just
laughter a bit down.
Yeah. Fucking oath.
Yeah, but
keep their
it's I always do
cards
the
close
I always do the bar one there, which is an awesome venue.
Oh, I've heard of
I
that.
do.
yeah.
I actually do quite a lot of like sort of places that bands and music
Yeah,
do
yeah.
as well. I've been doing those like dive bars that are around.
Yeah, for sure. I
It's
suppose
funny to see though that people grab on that term a bit. It's a cool.
a
'cause,
dive
like,
bar.
Some genuinely are. Yeah.
Yeah.
The one at the Sunny Coast calls itself Dive Bar 11. It's like, man, you're just a venue.
Yeah. What makes it a dive bar? Is
Well, I
it
always
just
thought in my mind, obviously there's that like seedy element
Yeah,
too, but
yeah.
I always think, I don't know if this is true, but in my mind it's like they're kind of like long and straight too, and like,
true?
narrow.
Yeah.
I always thought
That-
dive bars just small, just kind of compact.
Yeah.
I think it's like underground. I think
Couple
because
hundred
like
cap.
maybe when you go down, like you dive down. I don't know. That's
Yeah.
a weird stretch, but like they're like the
No,
ones that
no.
are underground. You know.
You probably think similar to me, like it's the way your brain thinks.
My brain dive
if
down.
you're if you when you hear words, if you see a vision, because it's like the term like underground to me,
Like
it was like,
underground
do they
bar, yeah.
actually play?
Yeah.
But it probably did start from
It's
that.
probably a term that
Mm,
came
for
from
sure.
like bars in New York when they fucking
Yeah.
were underground or some shit.
I
Yeah.
reckon you bang on there.
You
to be
reckon?
honest, yeah.
Thanks.
But it's that thing of like I said, we're overly using a term and everyone wanting to be in on it. It's kind of like that with cafes when they're like using crates and jars,
Okay.
milkshakes in jars and something like.
Have you ever seen like sometimes walking down the street they'll have those little clean windows on the ground and you can see that there's like a cellar underneath it?
Oh yeah, I love them. Yeah,
I'm so keen to get in there and have a look at one of
Yeah.
them one day.
there's a couple of pubs around too, the older ones that still have where like
I-
the floor opens up to get
Yeah, the cellars underground. They're pretty cool.
like Gladdy in Sydney. I do a few gigs there. They do that and yeah, it's pretty cool.
They should capitalise on that. I'd love to play a gig on like a rooftop or something one day.
Yeah.
Some cool footage online and like, oh, you go, Grady.
Oh, we got told that interesting story. I remember we were at that pub and he said, you know how the old pubs, how they've got the tiles
Oh, yeah.
across the front of it?
Oh
Like-
yeah.
And he's like, do you know where they got the tiles all through the front? I'm like, no idea. He's like, because I think it was like maybe back in like the 30s and stuff like that. When the pub shut, everyone used to go straight out and just turn around and have a piss straight onto the pub.
Oh.
So it was so much easier to just have like a splashback so they could just piss straight on it.
They just go out and just fucking hose it down. It's like, pick up a bucket.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's like some traditions start for pretty gross reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine that. Imagine walking out of the pub and everyone's just pissing on it.
Yeah. Imagine that. Well, that dude was saying that people would just piss inside as well.
Yeah.
Against the bar itself.
So they didn't lose their spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'd just be in line and they'd just piss on the bar. Imagine that. Imagine doing that nowadays.
Yeah. But isn't there is there some bars? Maybe I'm imagining this. That have like a pissing trough. Nah.
Like
Fuck,
festivals,
maybe.
they've got some pretty filthy.
Oh
Pissing
yeah.
troughs.
You go to festivals and they have a flow and it's just like piss mud. Everywhere.
I've never seen the piss mud.
You've never
That'd
seen
be
it?
fucked though.
Splendor a few years ago, it was disgusting.
Oh,
Oh.
yeah.
You'd
But
be
it could
walking
just be
in
mud
and
mud
it
as well.
just- Sorry?
Could just be like standard mud.
Nah, it was
Flowing
definitely...
through. Was it 100% piss mud?
There was a certain smell to it.
Oh.
You know.
That's fucked.
You
Yes.
played any festivals?
Yeah, quite a few actually. Done like Splendor a few times.
No
Have you
way.
really?
That's
Yeah.
Shit. How was that?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So they have a particular tent for the arts and stuff and
Yeah.
comedies in there. So they have these like people doing speeches and stuff. It's like like Dr. Carl,
Yeah.
whatever, and
That's sick.
yeah, a
They
few
usually
like
have
political.
like a panel too, right?
Yeah, and then they have like at nighttime comedy comes on, and it's that kind of thing where it's like the people who come in, they're either kind of like there is a few who genuinely want it, which is rad, but there's a few just trying to like space out a bit. Like, yeah, so it's cool.
People kind
but,
of
like,
coming and going.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah.
and it's also just a big catch up for everyone too.
For sure.
Like yeah.
Without a doubt. That's
You
probably...
Was that last year or?
So I've done it a few times. I went this year, but I wasn't booked on.
Yeah.
I just went as a punter. And then me and my mate Jonathan, he's another comedian. We have a little, it's a silly duo thing we do. And we asked, can we do it? Like at the last moment.
Yeah.
And they let us go on, which
Oh,
was nice.
That's sick.
Yeah, I think they might have had a little opening. I don't know if someone didn't appear or whatever,
Yeah.
or just squeezed us on. But
Yeah.
yeah, a little secret spot was
That's
cool.
Nice.
even
That's
better.
But
pretty
it's
cool.
just interesting to see things on different scales. Like it is that giant scale.
Yeah, it's
good.
massive. How'd you go this year? Because you obviously went, but
Yeah.
it was hectic. Like,
Yeah, with the mud and all that. Yeah.
You just went as a punter. Did you have
Yeah.
to do any crazy queuing up? or anything?
So no, well actually what happened was crazy. Is like I didn't have a ticket or nothing, and I get a little bit used to like knowing bands and
Yeah,
comic
for
and
sure.
like artists. You get let into stuff. Plus, I get used to that, and then I was like asking people asking around, hey, can anyone get me in? And usually it's fine,
Yeah.
but everyone's like, oh,
Left it a bit too
I'll
late.
give it a try, man. Then they'd get back to me in a few hours, like, sorry, bro. And they're like, because I think you got to get your plus ones in a long time before.
Yeah.
True.
Plus, there's the element of like, most could be either taking a partner or someone close to them or whatever.
Sure.
And then I'm like, my first thought's like, fuck, no one's not angry, but I'm like, oh man, can't someone get me in? And then I'm like, then I realize like the reality is like this is like a $500 ticket or something. It is a big ass stomach. But anyway, then I just chucked it up on my like Insta story or whatever. Can anyone get me in? Like, might as well try. And then someone was like, yeah, from Victoria. Well, like, I'm not going, and they let me have the ticket. Yeah.
That's
And-
sick.
You're kidding.
And then I had this moment. I had this thing that was kind of like, have you heard of that? The paperclip trade where someone like kept trading.
Yeah.
And they got to
Yes.
a house or whatever.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah,
ridiculous.
Yeah.
I'm not the same thing, not a house, but I went from like not being in at all, and then I ended up being like getting backstage, all access. Like,
Oh,
so I went
man.
from not there at
Everywhere.
all.
I kept seeing
Yeah.
you, and like,
Yeah,
you,
yeah.
used to-
So
you were just
funny.
like hanging
Yeah.
with all the bands. You were with Fitzy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, first the like Violent Soho. I hope I don't get in trouble saying this. Probably not. It's done now. But like they were trying to get me in. Like Luke, the bassist, and he's like, the security kept seeing me because he tried to like get me in, and
Yeah.
like no, there wasn't any extra things passed or anything, and the security kept seeing me, and then we're like, get out, and then I did that like pretending to get out, and then U-turn, come back. So like 3 or 4 times they tried, and I'm like, oh, I felt bad. I don't want to get anyone in trouble. But then, eventually I met up with these guys that were there who were Triple One, like
Yes.
rap group
yeah,
from
yeah,
Sydney,
yeah,
and
yeah.
I hadn't met them before, but they like took me under their wing. They were big fans, so yeah, like
That's
they
so
gave me
good.
the actual pass, and ended up staying at their Airbnb, which is like awesome. So
That's unreal.
it was a real quick trip of like from not having a ticket to getting into like being
Yeah,
treated
no,
VIP
no.
deluxe. Yeah,
That's awesome.
Like-
That's like the best kind
Yeah.
of thing, though. It's
Oh,
like a
without a
whirlwind
doubt.
almost. It's like
It's a good thing you winged it as well, and you're just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna have a
Yeah.
crack. Because otherwise, you'd just be like, yeah, nothing happened.
yeah,
Now you got that story under your belt.
yeah, and like I just had this like fear of missing out. I really wanted to be there, and because it's about like 3 hours drive from Brizzy, so I drove
Fuck,
down.
especially for you.
Yeah.
Fair chunk of mates would have been there too, I'm sure.
Yeah, and like, but it was super muddy, so had the big long gumboots on,
Yeah.
and this sounds weird though. It was a good kind of mud because it was real liquidy, which
Yeah.
sounds weird,
It
but
doesn't stick
It means
to
you
you.
don't
Yeah,
slip.
yeah.
because
It's
the
not
worst, I
slippery.
hate the one where it grabs your feet where it's
Yeah,
thick.
it's
So,
squelchy.
but you would stand in it and it would go right up to your knees, but you're just like, oh.
As
Yeah.
long as you got the big wellies on.
Imagine what it would have been like camping there.
But sometimes,
Some
yeah.
of the pictures,
Fucking
man, I was
nuts.
like,
I camped there years ago when it was really wet,
was
and
it 2015?
I don't remember the exact
It's a
year,
way
but
back, yeah.
I did that as well.
the water was right up to my tent, and I would have to like kind of. I know this is a visual format, but you guys can describe what I'm doing. Trying to like go backwards into the tent and then like leave my
Yes.
gumboots
Yeah.
out.
Oh,
and-
yeah. There's just two gumboots hanging out of the tent.
Yeah, real maneuvering, like kind of like going.
Glock C.
It would have looked like going how high jumpers have to do their I think it's called the flop jump or something. Yeah. Kind of like twist it. And it would have been funny to see. You know, he's this big fat guy. Like, twist.
No way, you'd just be coming by a tent, and then you
Yeah.
it's a lucky dip. You're like, who's in here?
Man,
Fucking hell.
I remember when I first went, it was like Thursday night. I was like, won't be too muddy. And I was wearing my white Converse,
Yeah.
and they weren't white after that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you
That's a
gotta. You
mistake.
can't take
Have to
anything.
pack wellies.
You don't want to be permanently stained. Like
Oh, yeah.
I had the.
It's a gamble.
I had a shirt from the band Loser, and
Yeah.
it's white, and it's just permanently got like mud stains on
Is
it.
that the
now.
Yeah.
burger shirt?
Yeah.
It's a sicko.
Yeah, and like, it's just part of it, I guess. You can't go to those things.
And expecting to
Like, there's some people complaining, but like, you know, it's part of it. I
literally
think.
is what it is.
I wouldn't have complained about the mud, but
Yeah.
if I was stuck in my car for 12 hours,
Oh yeah,
The cold at night as well, maybe. I'd maybe be a
but
bit shitty
that's-
about that.
that's expected though.
But if you're like standing in the line and stuff,
but
waiting for buses.
waiting in
to-
the
I
mud
was
and shit.
careful not to like. I don't want to complain about those people complain about the complainer.
Yeah.
No, but because
Why, you
my
get the
experience,
VIP treatment?
my experience is different.
Fair
So
enough.
Yeah.
if
But-
you forked out 500 bars, you've been waiting ages.
There's a
And there's
difference.
like a like safety element if you're out there all night in the cold. And
Yeah,
whatever,
you're getting
but-
cold. Honestly, though, like, we only went there 1 year, but the year that it was muddy, that was really, really fun because the amphitheatre turned into like a mud pit, and then there was
Yeah.
just like, maybe not right, but bin lids and stuff, and people just
Oh,
getting on
just
bin lids and
surfing
just
down.
tobogganing down the
That's
hill.
sick.
And
Yeah.
then it was just like fun as mosh pit because anywhere you go, you want to run in, it takes you like 3 seconds to get to top speed because you're going like,
Yeah, yeah.
and then you grab the traction. But it was like,
you
mate,
just walk people trying to get up to the toilets at the top of the hill.
Yeah.
And everyone's like leaning
and
forward.
just
like,
drunk as,
slipping, like-
just everyone
so
that's pissed
funny.
is just falling out. It was just fun. It was like,
I think they must have brought in like gravel or something.
Yeah, they would have had like, what do you call
Yeah.
it?
yeah, how did they
Because
fix
in front
that?
of the main stage was
Was
fine.
good.
That was the one they prioritised. Obviously,
I remember
all the other stages they just left as they are.
2015, Bad Dreams played on the Sunday opening slot.
Yeah, I was
and
at
it
that.
was so muddy that
They
they,
just left
played
like
to
a-
no one for
Yeah.
15 minutes because they hadn't finished putting the bark.
Wow.
But what they did, I was at that. They put a gap, so
Yes.
there was like, it must have been shit atmosphere because there was like 100 meters between band and punters.
It would
Like,
have. I felt so bad for him. It's like
Without a doubt.
you would have been so stoked to play like Splendor, and for the first 15 minutes, you playing to no one.
But I dare say they'd still be happy they got like the
Yeah.
experience of being there, get to
Oh,
do
for
all
sure.
Splendor, go to like the.
and some of those things, I reckon, I don't know if it's true, but I reckon in the industry, if someone sees that you plow on regardless, that kind of
Oh, respect.
gets you some brownie points.
For
I
sure.
reckon, like.
There's an attitude to it as well. It's
Yeah.
actually kind of tricky. Craig's, nail on the head. It's like you play. It doesn't matter who you're playing to. It's like you just play your best show, I suppose.
Yeah,
then-
sounds cheesy, but it's true. Yeah,
It's true. Yeah.
well, that's what I was like try and quality over quantity. Like sometimes,
Yeah. Yeah.
You,
Yeah.
you were pulling a bit of that at Lockhart.
Yeah,
on the weekend,
yeah.
mate.
yeah.
Through the rain.
Oh man, yeah, that was crazy on Saturday. Nearly all the bands were cancelled. The bands my friends went to see was cancelled, but the comedy plows on regardless.
goes on.
I was standing in like water up to my ankles, and just when I went on, the storm just went psycho.
Hurricane Gocsy.
Yeah. Yeah, it must be what it feels like to be in the eye of a cyclone.
Yeah, literally. Just
It
getting
was just
plummeted.
I had to like scream over I felt like a metalcore singer.
Yeah.
Just go like this.
But it's
Everyone starts moshing.
It's so like, whoa, I'm gonna like, here's a big breakdown. I'm
Yeah.
like, here's something about pies and chocolate mill, you know.
Everyone's just throwing fucking piss. Yeah, pies and chocolate.
Parkway drive-through, you know. Like, oh,
That's awesome.
Fuck it, that's me, dude.
Yeah, that's sick.
Yeah, man. The comedy would be something else, I reckon. It'd be you'd get some.
How do you
epic
go with
ones.
it? Do you have like a routine and then you go through that routine, but if something pops up, you just address it? Or do you
Yeah.
like talk a bit of shit mostly when you do it?
well, I had to address the storm going on.
Yeah.
That was the hard thing. Was like I wanted to plow on, but then I'm like, are you guys seeing this, or is it just me? Then like,
yeah.
But I would also like, do you want us to plow on? And everyone's like, yeah. So that was sick. It's good that people want it, but
Yeah.
yeah. Like, there's a lot of difference with comedy and music, but that's one thing that's similar in that, like having a set.
Yeah.
Generally do.
Having something
Yeah.
that you know what
Be like, you put your songs on the floor.
Yeah.
Like, we got all our
Got the
jokes
set
on
list
the.
of your jokes.
Yeah.
Parkway
I'm
drive-through.
pretty loose actually these days, but I used to have. The problem is you don't want to cloud your mind too much. So
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
I find if the better I am, if my mind's pretty like not clouded. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also-
Sorry, you go, me.
Oh, it's all good.
I was gonna say, how'd you get started? Like, I remember like first time I heard of you. Was,
Yeah.
Like, obviously, classic Stitch Up and stuff like that.
Yeah, but I've been going for a while before that. But
Yeah.
that was when I started to put things out.
Yeah.
So I'm from Brizzy, so just doing the local scene for a long time.
Yeah.
It's just pretty depressing, but but it was I was the kind of guy who was, and I'll admit this now, but I was like whinging and sucking, like, why aren't things taking off? And then it was that
Yeah.
classic thing of like, well, you're gonna put shit out, like no one's gonna rock up and knock on your door and like,
Yeah. Okay.
hi, we're from Ha Ha Records.
Yeah.
Hop in the limo, like. But it is when you're young and that you do go through a lot of that, like why isn't things happening to me
Yeah.
and like
Is that when you started doing like kind of more YouTube?
yeah,
stuff?
that's what I was like. I got to put it out for people to find out about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I wasn't sure how it'd go, but I was pretty thankful. I didn't really have a particular plan or anything. My one idea was like try and get some interaction going with the socials. I think. Like,
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, like I did a few things where I said try to get people to be involved. I remember this one where it was stupid, but you know how there's that I think it's Reddit Ask Me Anything.
Yeah.
And-
Yeah.
But I said feed me anything, which was getting people to say tell me what to eat, and I'd go and take a photo of it. So like someone would
That's
go
awesome.
like Red Rooster or Italian, and yeah. And
good.
that was just my idea, like get things going. So that was a good starting point, yeah.
That's sick.
Which I think you need that initial starting point to then some of those clips blew up, which is crazy. Like I remember that Stitch Up one was like I'm just working normal job in like this warehouse, and it wasn't a thing that actually happened, but the thing happened on like Friday, so I'm like got the weekend to stew over it a bit, then kind of wrote out a little bit of a script. And then I remember saying it to these. You guys heard of Arnie Donna? Like
Yeah.
pretty,
Yeah.
popular comedy group, and they get along well with them. But I was hanging out with them at their thing in Brizzy, their gig in their like dressing room thing, and I go, just said it, like, and it's like actually it's not. It's kind of a look down upon thing to like try jokes on other comedians and that a lot of comedians have, but I just said it,
Yeah.
and they're like, oh, that's funny, man. And then I was like, oh, these guys like it, maybe there's something in it. And then I record it Monday morning, so this is like after happening Friday, record it just before work, put it out, go to work, and then it's like shit's happening while I'm at work, you know. That's when all like the sharing
An
was
awesome
happening out.
feeling of just like
Yeah.
your notifications.
And it's
go
pretty,
out.
it was pretty quick and powerful, and people, and by the end of the day, someone goes, "Is this you?" And like, yeah.
That's
Dude.
sick.
That's so cool,
Well, it
dude.
took Australia by storm, honestly. I reckon
Yeah.
you maybe invented the Stitch Up. It's fucking hilarious.
Well, it is
Literally
funny
it
because
is,
like
isn't it?
seeing you don't intend it to be to any demographic or age group, but then all these like younger fellas like picked up on it, and then
We
because
use
it
it.
was like a term that was a bit of an older, like I think 80s and 90s sort of.
True.
Yeah, and then it died off. It's that kind of like bit of a resurgence of the old Aussie shit. I think.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's good, man. It's the way it's presented as well. It's like the way you
Just
do
like
it.
you just
class.
deadpan it.
Yeah,
It's
it's just
so
like
funny, man.
You fucking nailed it.
It's more than the term.
Yeah, I'm stoked people like it, but I was like, yeah, it was. I guess looking back, like it's hard to reflect on your own journey, but it's almost like all those years of irrelevance to playing to no one is almost like they're like toughened me up and probably.
The underdog
Fucking
story.
oath. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, without a doubt. And then when something kicks off, you're ready for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I suppose as well. Like now, you can go to a place and just if it
Yeah.
not going your way, you can power through it and move on.
Yeah.
It doesn't
And that's
tarnish your
like,
rep, you know.
talking before about like Tidsy and that from Soho, and those guys had the similar sort of thing
Yeah, for
where
sure.
they weren't always as huge as everyone knows them as now, you know.
Definitely, yeah.
Do the hard yards.
They did. For
Tough
sure.
and jump.
Yeah.
How'd you meet like obviously like your mates with like a lot of bands and stuff? Like how'd you start like doing that? Just going to shows
Yeah.
and stuff, or what was?
Yeah, a little bit. Like I've always been a fan of
Sure.
music, and
Yeah.
but also, yeah, you run into them. Like I said, doing music fairs. I've also, I've noticed, you know, on the socials, you notice who's following and
For
stuff,
sure.
and then I was lucky enough of like a few have asked me to do clips and stuff, which is awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. You Skegs. on the
Yeah,
set,
yeah,
I
that was
think.
really fun.
Yeah.
I didn't actually meet them.
Yeah.
I was living in Melbourne at the time, and they just sent some mates along to film it. But then again, I got asked by them to then tour with them later, which was awesome.
that's
Yeah,
nuts.
That's so
And
What
good.
did you do
so-
on the tour?
yeah, and
Did you
like
open for them on the tour?
yeah, I was kind of like a host where I'd go on in between bands.
Yeah.
MC it.
Hype man.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, that's
Yeah,
sick,
that's
dude.
That is awesome.
That's so good.
But it's funny, yeah, it's funny because like the history of hype man, there was more of like a rap hip hop thing. But like,
Yeah,
why
sure.
not? Bring
Yeah,
it to
why
like,
the fuck not?
Come on,
Yeah.
guys! Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's why it's like cool as well. Like in rock and stuff, like having a collab songs and stuff.
Mm.
Like I love that. Like Terry's just brought out one, and it's just a collab between SO, just like merging two worlds, and it's
Yeah.
it's good. I love seeing the collabs. and stuff
Yeah,
happen.
it's definitely the walls have been brought down.
Yeah, no, it's
Yeah,
good.
it's really
Anytime
cool.
it gets
I
pulled
love
down,
it.
I'm into it. I fucking
Dude, we were talking about doing a comedy set. Like, we had a gig in Perth or somewhere, and we had a 45-minute set, but we didn't have 45 minutes worth of songs. So
have to
like,
queue up, get some tips.
so
Yeah,
like,
man. If you ever want me, let me know. I'm always keen. Like, I've what was I gonna say? I've got like, you know, I've like been speaking to a few of the guys. Like, you know, a few months ago, I did a Brisbane Comedy Festival show, and BC drummer from June Rats, he did like an opening set, and that was like
That's
a.
neat.
It's like he's like, you know, he's got his career, so it's like it's not a.
It's
Good for
not-
It's
fun.
more like a bucket list
Nothing to
thing.
lose,
Yeah,
really.
yeah,
That's-
yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so it was like, I wanted to like, you know, allow him to follow his dream. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
It's a bit,
but there's
Give
a
him
lot
a
of
shot.
mutual respect from like
Sure.
musos respecting comedy.
Oh,
and
yeah,
vice
yeah.
versa.
It's an art form. Yeah,
And,
I fucking
uh,
sounds
so-
funky.
so-
dude.
Like some of musos
Honestly-
like, how do you do it? And I'm all the other way. Like,
Yeah.
we're just talking shit. How do you guys like remember all your chords and shit? Like,
So honest review, how'd he go?
no, pretty good. Yeah, pretty good. Like,
Oh, dude, I'd just laugh. BC's a fucking funny
He's
guy.
a funny dude.
He's a
He's
funny
a
dude in
funny
general.
dude.
I just
They
reckon
used
his
to do all
personality's
those like
funny.
videos.
Doing his TV. or
Yeah.
something.
yeah.
I used to watch him all the time, and always just watch BC, and he'd always just be fucked up, and he'd just be saying funny shit. Like, you know that one where he does the DZ Death Rays
Yeah.
thing, and they do like the parody where they're smoking bongs after
Yeah.
and then after they do an interview, and he's just sitting on the couch, and he's
Trash,
just.
Dude, doesn't he like
So
get in the
funny.
crack?
Dude,
Doesn't he,
it is like,
throw
how
up?
are you
Yeah.
not passed out?
I
as
know,
well?
it's
Like,
amazing. It's like he
I
really
want
handles
to
it.
reenact that, but not bongs for
With
me, like
chalky
chalky milk.
milk.
Yeah,
Maybe pies or, you know.
some pasta.
Could be like, you know how they light the bongs, but maybe I've got to like cook the hot dog or something. You know? Like,
put some sauce on.
Dude,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
probably a good music video clip. Like, we'll bring some music out and we'll get you on and do that.
We'll just grab like beer bongs, but instead of
Mm.
beer, chalky milk.
Yeah.
Chalky milk.
but I saw something with I can't even remember what it was, but someone said, might have been someone from like the rap circuit, and they're like looking at how the bands back each other like that. Like, we should be doing that, you know, like.
Yeah.
Oh, man, without a
You can
doubt.
see it how like
There's a
Junies
lot
and
of
DZ.
rivalry and stuff like that in that scene, I guess.
Yeah, well, I think coming from Brizzy, where I know, you know, I guess they just push each other because it's not the biggest place. It's not like Melbourne and Sydney, you know, so it's like help each other out. And,
Kids,
For
kids
sure.
always talked about that, like they all
yeah,
brought each other up and were proud of each other.
yeah. Well, they're all from like a few suburbs from me, so it's crazy now to see them like. And then when they always talk about the suburb too, it's that funny. Like,
true.
there's nothing there. Like, but that's part of I think making the like. That's what I love too. That like boring suburbia thing, but like
Yeah.
the castle
Yeah,
movie.
yeah.
And, like,
And
yeah.
heaps of people from boring suburbia. That's why
Yeah.
everyone resonates with it.
Well, the
so-
other year they did the Chrissy thing at Mansfield Tavern, and I got to be Santa at it. It was awesome.
Oh,
I
I
think I
remember
yeah,
that.
it was really fun. But the first night, so I went on just before them, and it was a disaster because it was just a combination of like no one wants to be doing my comedy, so we shifted it to earlier the next night. It was a lot better.
Yeah.
But I went up there and it's because they hadn't played for a long time, so it's
Yeah.
like the anticipation wanting to see Soho, plus probably substances in a lot of people, and then like don't want to hear this guy banging on about pies and stuff. So it's like Soho. I was like, fuck yeah. And
Meat
then
pie.
This guy from Triple M reviewed me. And I didn't handle it well because he like didn't like it. And these days I'm a bit more like whatever.
The
But
guy from Triple M didn't
because
like
he
it.
did this
Did he give a proper grill?
the thing I hated was he did these things around comedian,
Oh,
and I'm like, you might think I'm shit, but I'm still a comedian.
Go
Like, yeah,
fuck it. I'm up here telling jokes.
yeah.
man.
And it's
What
just
is it?
the other thing about that too. It's just a bonus thing, isn't it? It's like if you don't like it,
Yeah.
like if I wasn't on, they'd just be playing something from Spotify. Like, who cares? Like,
Yeah.
it's like-
I'm a bit iffy sometimes on comedy critics.
Yeah.
It's like, it's very, very subjective.
It
Yeah.
is subjective, and it's also like
The biggest metric is how many fucking seats you sell, really. And
Yeah,
how
well,
many
I don't
people-
like talking about what I do, but like, there's an element of there's this thing called anti-comedy where it's like
Yeah.
bad on purpose or like meant to be sloppy, and like I do a little bit of that, you know. If you want the like perfectly, you can get them. They're out there. These guys are like smooth and say everything at the right
But
time.
there are
and-
subgenres, you're right, because like you also get it's like subgenres between music. You can get like electronic music,
Yeah.
fucking punk music, whatever. But there's different
But there's
types of
also
joke
lo-fi
tellers.
too. Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of like similar to what you're talking about. Like, people are like sounding shit.
Purposely, yeah.
Yeah. And it's all and it's a
it's
style of
it's a
humor,
style.
and people.
And that's
fucking
what I
love
think
it.
the guy didn't get too. And it's just,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but at the same time, it's like fuck you. They booked me. Like, yeah, you're a
You
reviewer.
literally- yeah, it's
Yeah.
like go home.
Yeah.
The-
Oh.
Me and Benny went to the comedy club, I think it is, in like
North Melbourne?
in America. Nah, it's in LA, I think. And we saw this dude who acted like he was a tiger for like 10 minutes straight.
Yeah, it was like performance art.
Fuck
It was
yeah.
nuts,
It's just
yeah,
like
it
the
was-
funny thing, and we didn't know what was going. Like I was tripped out, but I loved it. Like it was just like, what the fuck?
And
is
you
happening?
could actually
surreal.
watch everyone,
You
like
could-
majority of the people just leaving in
you could feel
disgust. But then there were just a
tense,
couple
but
of
that was
people
like
there.
that's art in
Yeah.
itself.
Well, have you
like,
ever
fuck
heard
it.
of Neil Hamburger?
Nah.
Well, what I said before, anti-comedy, that's what he does. It's purposely bad. You should check it out. But so like, Frenzel Rom brought him out. He's American, but Frenzel Rom brought him out. I think it was like the 05 big day out. I was at it on the Goldie,
Yeah.
and you probably know about Frenzel. Like they're like punk legends, but because they did well, so there's a crossover to like the Meathead. Anyway, back then there was the big thing going on at Big Day Out. The guys, Meatheads appearing with the like Aussie flag and that.
Yeah.
Who like Frenzel aren't into it
Yeah,
all.
for sure.
So there's this big mesh of like Gold Coast. There's like 30,000 people there. I'm standing there like coming from the punk scene. All these meatheads there with the flag Southern Cross on them and that, and they're like, "What the fuck is this?" Like
What?
because they
Didn't like it.
they got Neil Hamburger to open.
Oh,
And he's doing
Gotcha,
this.
gotcha,
like-
gotcha.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't explain that very well.
no.
But if you
I'm on
see him, like, look him up. It's like he does this. Like, I'll give you an example. He's like, he's this guy who puts on an act, and he's like, he does these like he's gonna like put on, he's gonna spew or something, and he'll go like, why do, you know? I can't even remember what you know, like why is Red Hot Chili Peppers' veins so big or something? He's like, because they've had so many hits over the years. And it's just that. And then, but you got to be in on it. That's why it's like anti-comedy. It's like, you got to be in on it.
Fucking hell.
I'm not saying I do the exact same thing, but
I know what you mean.
I
It's
feel like you've
there's
got to know
elements-
what
there's
I
a
do.
niche.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
a niche to it, and it's like you got to know about it. Yeah.
That's my favourite type of comedy, I reckon.
Yeah.
Just like
Agreed.
It's
the
like-
one person in the room
Dude,
understands.
Scotty's about that. Is that like Scott said some funny shit on stage, and no one's got it.
No
And
one
it-
ever gets it,
But
which
it's
I
unfair
like.
because Scotty doesn't speak clearly enough on stage.
Yeah, but that's a part of the act. He's
And I
literally
think
just
my
up there
voice is
going.
you go.
Very monotone as well, which probably
Yeah.
isn't good. Like it's just,
It's a bit muddy.
it's a bit blurry.
The
for
frequency
sure.
spectrum's all
It's
fucked up.
mainly just for Ben to laugh, I think.
Just
Yeah,
as long as Ben gets a
Right,
laugh, out, we're all good.
but yeah, you got to get it, and if you don't get it,
If you
it doesn't
don't
mean
get
it's not funny. It just means you
Yeah.
don't get it.
Yeah.
But the Skeggs tour was sick. I loved it, but I would I was like getting less laughter than I would at like a comedy club, but
Sure.
Oh,
I
different things.
blame the setup because I'm like, you know, people in a mosh pit and not, you know, it's
They're
like,
probably ready to like listen to a band.
yeah, and also yeah,
It's a funny crossover, but it's also fucking.
That's not cool.
It's good. It's like if you're not going there to get absolutely trashed, like it's sort of an experience.
It's
like,
kind of cool. It's like new audiences and shit.
Yeah.
It's worth the experiment anyway.
yeah.
without a doubt.
Well, as at Sydney, I had a can chucked at me, and it's this weird thing of like, in the moment you're like, this sucks, and then you process it later, where I'm like, well, there's like a lot of people there. There's Enmore Theatre. I don't know, there's like a couple thousand.
Massive, yeah.
So it's
That'd be scary.
percentage, like one dickhead amongst heaps.
can
you
just
know.
fuck your whole mental game.
And there's
up as
always
well.
that person. Yeah, there's just someone who's like, I'm going to make this about me. And like,
Yeah.
But in that moment, you just feel hated.
How do you go getting away from heckling? Have you ever been
I was gonna
heckled?
say.
Yeah, a little bit. Like, often, sometimes I'm like, you don't quite hear what they said, and you'll say, what was that? And they say it again, and like, I can't understand what you're saying. Like,
Yeah.
just play it off like
Yeah.
that. But there is some performers who are like,
Dive into
good
it.
at ripping into them, and I'm not like that at all. So I'm
Yeah.
like,
I've seen a video of Frenchie at something. I think it was Frenchie, or it might have been Lucius Aussie Bloke, dude.
Yeah, that bloke
And that
kind
guy-
of lost the plot.
Yeah, but it like something happened. Someone said something, and it was just nearly a fight. Like he nearly got up on
Yeah, he
stage
got, like,
and
he
just
got
like
something
went.
through it and
went
Yeah,
at it,
yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
But
fuck
they're
that,
like
fuck
those
that.
shows are a bit more abrasive, like kind of I'm not that kind of like I'm just take it or leave it. I'm not like
Yeah,
trying,
fair enough.
trying to stir up, you know.
Nah.
I think
Let's-
with getting heckled too, it's like after a while you gotta like, and that, you know, it's easy from the fucking cheap seats, but like
Yeah.
you can't take stuff personally. Whereas I think
Yeah.
that Lucius Aussie bloke, when he got heckled, he took it to heart and he
Yeah.
reacted accordingly.
Mm.
Like he,
It'd be
There's,
hard. I'd
there's
take it
some weird
personally.
beliefs
Oh,
out
yeah.
there. There's
You've
people
gotta be
who
thick-skinned.
Yeah.
there's some people who genuinely believe that they think they were supposed to, like, they're like, don't you want it? They think it's a part of it.
What the
Like-
an act of
Oh,
the
being
comedy.
heckled?
Yeah, yeah,
it's all
yeah.
part.
Oh,
yeah.
they like it. The
And
banter, I
it's like,
suppose.
yeah.
Well, that's true. It could add to the show some way.
Depends if you're like a Tom Gleeson bloke who's just really
It's almost
Quick.
like that.
he can make it
Mm.
because
Yeah,
he's
without a
good at
doubt.
ripping into people.
Yeah.
It's almost like
without
those
doubt.
people who think this is that, so I've got to, you know, like,
yeah, for sure.
like, oh, this is a hardcore punk show, so I've got to do all the like kung fu moves. And, like, you don't have to, man.
Yeah,
No,
you can sit at the back.
Because
And chill.
I went to the show the other day, and I like to go down the front, a little bit of movement, but then when it gets too, like, you get worried, you know, like
yeah.
someone, there's a whole life outside the mosh pit, you know, like someone chucks an elbow. And you lose a few teeth, and then, you know, that could be thousands of dollars repairing it. And it's just like,
There you go.
Tell your story about when you lost your tooth in the mosh.
What? I've never.
So I got a false tooth. These ones here.
Really?
oh, that's a good party trick.
I've
It's
never
not,
seen
it doesn't
that
work in my
life.
advantage. Everyone does what you did, and I'm like, fucking.
Shane, this is can we get a visual of this?
Yeah, look down the barrel bin and go on.
I'm gonna have to give it to him. The blue teeth.
That's got to be the
blue-
pick to sell this, you know.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
yeah.
as well.
Fuck.
But yeah, basically, I was at Laneway and I was at the mosh to Junies, and then I was pretty drunk, and then I think I was crowd surfing, and basically like I play with my tooth sometimes, like like kind of a nervous thing, but got these weird nervous teeth. So anyway, I was playing with my tooth, but then I lost it, and I fucking legit slow mode watch it just fall out of my mouth into the mosh. And then that was it, and I just didn't have teeth for the rest of for like
Did you get hit,
3
or
months.
was it just?
No,
like you lost the
I
false
just
teeth?
lost it because my
Ah,
my tongue just launched it out basically. But yeah, like that was a disaster, and that happened.
You're probably walking around, everyone think you were hardcore.
I swear I saw. Yeah, I was like, yeah, it happened to Juniors and shit. But I swear I saw like the bass player just like looking at me, kind of laughing. But I could be wrong. I think I might have just been looking at the audience, just looking at cunts fucked up and stuff. But I was like, you
Yeah.
laughing at me?
I'm sure.
There's always like someone, a little bit too intense, and
Yeah.
I remember like you know back like I said, I've been going for shows a long time, but like back in the day, they'd all like the Circle Pit's been around for a long time, but it was like it was an event, like let it build up to one, do it, and it's.
Yeah.
And then it was like when I was at Splendor this year, like
Non-stop.
they just kept doing them. They like
Yeah.
kept doing them. These big circle pits, and they're smashing each other.
So it
And I
wasn't
think
always like
kids
that.
these days, no, I shouldn't.
There's less etiquette, I think.
Yeah,
Sometimes.
I'm not like across the board, but like there's kids these days are like get real heavily in the gym and stuff too, and they're like,
Man, it's
Yeah,
hard
sure.
work. I come out of them sometimes like wanting to vomit because I've worked that hard in there. It's like I've done a
It's also
marathon.
hot, like
As a
really
kid,
fucking
as
hot.
a kid, I used to
Isn't
love
good.
it, but like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
crowds.
The,
I
the
can't
one
do
good
it
thing
all
about the
now.
kids doing the
Can't
gym,
do
I
it.
will say, I crowd surfed at Splendor during the charts,
Yes.
and it went for ages.
They've got
saw
you.
It's the longest crowd surf I've had in my
Hilarious.
life, you know. And
Yeah.
like it doesn't sound long to say a minute. That doesn't like a minute.
Minute's a
Nah,
long time.
minutes
On
But
the,
to be up there is a
Yeah.
long time.
Yeah.
And I got moved around. Like I started at the front, got moved up to the back. I was like doing a lap, you know.
yeah,
So-
hot lap.
That's epic.
Yes,
think-
at the Brizzy gig, we saw you jumping off the stage left, right,
Yes.
and centre. Just-
Oh yeah, I saw Goxie
Well, I
come
had
out.
this one where, and it just would just stop. It just disaster straight away. Just flipped over. Like I went in and just went wow.
School
Because I
life.
try and like to
Yeah.
like look for like like don't want to squash a little girl or something, you know. Like
I think they stay
you know,
away.
a bit of an overweight man, you know. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think it's pretty well done. Like most people, if you see a heavy mosh, you don't go into it. If you know you can't handle it.
Yeah,
So it's,
yeah.
you'd have a bit of faith that someone's going to hold you.
It's a fine line, like yeah.
I used to love it, and you'd come out gigs just sweaty and exhausted. Nowadays,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just like,
I used to like it, but then it got hectic. Like I remember doing one actually at Violent Soho, and it was Violent Soho and then Parkway Drive, or it was one of the
Whoa.
two. But I remember actually it was Violent Soho first because I remember the mosh was pretty heavy, but then Parkway
Parkway
came on
fans
and it was fucking
waiting.
really hectic. It was like just literally haymakers being thrown and people just like trying to knock you out. But it was really strange because like as soon as you see someone throwing them and someone gets dropped, everyone sort of works together, gets them
Yeah.
up, and then helps them out and gets them away.
yeah.
And
Yeah,
now,
that community spirit's good. Like that's when you know it's a
yeah.
There's always like, I feel like most people are good, but then like you said, there's a couple of bad eggs that
yeah.
might
Yeah,
be
it's just kind of like society. In a nutshell, yeah.
well
like,
said.
Sure, man.
a lot of good pill, a few idiots, yeah. But because there's some who just like take it as I'm gonna cause havoc or I'm gonna
Yeah.
let out my aggression onto people.
Without a doubt. Have you seen, a gang called Speed? That band?
Yeah.
I've seen like yeah.
Have you been to their shows?
No, I haven't. Like,
I've seen footage and stuff of it, and it looks fucking crazy. Like just some of the just what it is. It's like
Moshes?
the moshes, but it's like everyone's doing it individually.
Yeah.
It's hectic. It looks nuts. Like I'd love to watch them,
That,
but I couldn't get in there. I don't
the
reckon.
Turnstile and Speed shows will be pretty
Yeah,
full on, I
I'm
reckon.
game for that. Are you into Turnstile and Speed and stuff?
Oh, I don't follow it, but I'm keen to check it out.
I'm gonna check it out as well.
I'm gonna go laneway. I don't know.
Who's some of your favourite bands popping off at the moment that you like?
Probably like my favorite band is this one called the Mountain Goats. I don't know if you heard of them. It's kind of
No.
folky. I don't like the word folk, but yeah,
Acoustic.
makes you think like Jack Johnson.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Cool.
Bob Dylan, I think.
Yeah.
Check it out.
But just like pretty stripped. Well, like way back in the day, he was known as this like kind of like Bob Dylan, like solo. But they've kept adding more and more, so it's not really folky these days.
Yeah. Whereabouts are they from?
They're American, yeah.
Yeah.
But then, like, I come from the punk background, so a little bit of that. You like Friends of Rom, and
Yeah.
got some friends in a few bands, like Camp Cope, that sort of thing. Yeah,
Camp Coat.
yeah,
Love Camp Coat.
a little bit of everything, you know.
Yeah, for sure. I see you around so many gigs.
I'm a bit lazy with my. That's why when you mention things, like I see, but I'm a bit lazy with my habits. I mean, of finding out new stuff.
Yeah. Well, I
'Cause,
think
like-
once you get to a certain age, right, it's
Yeah.
like you kind of...
Yeah, and so you got your favorites. Like if they put out their new thing, you'll check that.
Yeah.
Because I grew up late '90s, so the CD compilation was big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it didn't have none of this Spotify
This
like you young
streaming
fellas.
business,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
So I was in a punk, so like Epitaph Records, have you heard of that?
For
It was like
sure.
No Effects,
Yeah.
Rancid, Pennywise, and Fat Records. Anyway, these labels have put out CD compilation that have 20 bands each doing a song. And that's what made me lazy, because you would not need to go outside of that.
You
You're
have
like,
to
this
search
is,
for it.
and even in that label, they'd have a few sort of subgenres.
Yeah.
So it's very powerful too. Like that's where that kind of like powerful labels, if you got on, you're in kind of thing.
I think, music these days, it's like if you're like, you have to work a lot harder to find kind of what you like, because like the radio these days is very like just samey and kind of boring in a way. Like,
I feel like too, but also this is completely. I don't know if it's true. This is my view. Is that now subgenres can get bigger. I think if you're like from a weird sort of.
yeah, for sure. Like there's more niches that
Yeah.
are growing. But
That's what like I was watching that Parkway Drive docker, and it's like not to say, I mean, they're talented and all that.
Yeah.
But it's like, would a band like that be as big as they were in a past era? Who knows? Like, you know what I mean?
Metal's always kind of big. I guess if you're good. I mean, Metallica's an example of that, I guess. And the big four.
You know what I mean? Sometimes it's just like perfect time for certain people.
Perfect storm.
And just
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like, but you can. This is just my view: is you can find your market now. Where
I think
Yeah.
more bands can kind of get to a certain level,
yeah,
but to get to like the level where bands were in like the 90s
yeah,
is a lot harder because like back in the day, radio would just feed you the stuff and that's
yeah.
what you liked. And
Well, that's what I
you-
meant by that. Is
Yeah.
that in back in the day, is someone in power deciding this is who's going to be big.
Yeah,
The
Yeah.
power's been taken away from them a little bit, I think.
definitely right. For sure.
Guy like me back in the day. Yeah, like back at like telly and stuff wouldn't have when it was just telly radio,
Yeah, for sure.
they
And,
wouldn't
like,
have picked someone like me.
MTV and stuff like that.
So
for
the
sure.
socials and that have been good for me,
Yeah.
Well, that's how you got to kind of the truth. You got to do your shit via the socials these days. It's
Yeah.
Unnecessary
Sorry.
evil.
the biggest way.
Even it's been good for me but I also had a period of where it messed with my mental health.
Oh,
for
man.
sure,
all the
man.
likes and all that shit and
Yeah.
If you let it get to you, it can be
and it's
pretty
all
fucking heavy.
it's all the way where I hope I'm not getting too deep here.
No, go for it.
But it's all the way where I believe the way our brains are programmed and that and like so someone like me it can affect. But I see people who they don't. It's fine. It just bounces off them. But
Yeah.
Dude, funny you say that. I watched a thing last night on Radiohead and how they did the bends, and then when they brought out OK Computer, they blew up pretty much like overnight. But it fucked with like Tom York and his mental health, and he
Yeah.
couldn't handle it. And then I was thinking like compare that against a band like U2 or something. I don't know the ins and outs of that, but some dudes like that, he like I suppose Bono thrives in that environment,
yeah.
and he loves it, and he feeds off it. But then other people more introverted and they don't like it or something, and it just like
It's too much.
it affects him.
And look at Daniel Johns. Like it's stuffed him up.
dude.
Yeah,
Well, that's
for
partly
sure.
age as well. That's an age
Being
thing.
16. Did you
Yeah.
listen to the podcast you did?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Some of the stories in
great.
that first episode was
Mm.
just full on.
Pretty nuts,
Like that French woman who just kept
And I
claiming
think-
she was his mum.
Yeah.
I think there would have been people who like let's keep this big machine going.
Oh, for sure.
Fucking oath,
for
yeah.
sure. You know, not worried about
He
him
said-
as a person.
Because he said there was like, it's psycho, but like someone in America like killed people and blamed the lyrics
Yes.
and shit. And he's
Imagine
like,
that
he should have
for
had a
16,
break and dealt
16.
with it, but they
That's
did.
heavy, yeah.
People were like, no, keep touring. And,
Yeah.
Nothing to see here.
That is heavy as.
Yeah.
yeah.
Feel sorry for him, really. Like, and also you can see Kanye's point. Like, he's such a massive celebrity and phenomenon. You can't imagine what he'd be going through to make him do the things that he's doing. Like, it's hard to imagine it, but I'm sure
It's a massive
something.
combination of just like
Something's going on with mental health
mental
wise.
health
Like,
and just being surrounded by people that say yes.
And you
Yeah.
can just easily put stuff out too. Like that's
Yeah.
his problem, I think.
yeah, well, yeah,
If
he hasn't got a
it,
filter.
if
yeah.
it said you
sure
had
you wanna do
24
this?
hours, like
Yeah, for sure. Think about it a little bit.
Are you sure you want to do this?
Yeah.
Yes. Are
Man,
you really sure you want
That's
to
a
do
weird
this?
thing. I reckon, like, I find, like, sending messages when you wake up is always bad.
Oh, me too.
I reckon
Sometimes
I'm
I say
like-
the dummest shit when I wake
yeah.
up.
I
True.
reckon you got to give it a couple of hours
And
because I
then-
always
and
just
then-
fuck shit up.
And then like 2 hours later, I'm like, fuck, that was really dumb.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was saying about the way we're wired and that is like I've had pretty bad etiquette like online and like
Yeah.
and I'm like then I had to apologise. I'm like sorry, I just don't have that filter.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
Dude, and it's good that you do though, and you acknowledge it, because I reckon like it's a dangerous slope when you don't acknowledge shit that you've done wrong,
Yeah.
because you can end up being just a fucking knob, Happens.
But yeah, you just lose perspective probably. Like if you're someone like Kanye, like I was saying before, you got every cunt telling you you're the best.
You're the king.
You start believing it, and then you
Yeah,
just
for
lose
sure.
That's rough.
everything.
So, dude, what about Emu Wars? You wanna give
Yeah,
us a rundown on that?
yeah, I'm really excited. It's a group I work with. They're called Hot Tub Productions to make like skits and stuff. They're Melbourne based.
Yep.
They're actually all ex stand-up comedians as well.
Nice.
But they they're like prefer to be behind the camera and stuff, which is cool. Like that's why we work well together because everyone's happy with
They're wrong.
their role.
Yeah.
And I like being in front and they like being behind, so
Nice.
the camera. But No, it's really exciting. So we filmed it earlier this year. It's all going through production and editing and stuff now.
Cool.
All the nerdy shit. No. But yeah, like, it was crazy because some of it was like, not a lot, but some of it's like going to be put in post-production effects. But there was not actual emus, but like puppets and stuff. And that's what I struggle with. I struggle with when I'm acting is like, because doing comedy, I'll like, there's funny stuff, so I'm like smirking hard to like keep a straight face. And I really struggle because I'm like talking to emus and I can't smirk. And they're like, cut! He's smirking. I'm like, I'm fucking talking to emus here. You try and not smirk.
Hey, shit.
I remember this one scene in particular sticks out of my mind because it was like, one was like meant to be this kid emu, and then the door opens and it's meant to be like his stepdad. And I'm talking to this kid emu, and then the stepdad emu opens the door. And I'm like, not now, Daryl. Like, fuck off, Daryl, you know? Like, and then trying to keep a straight face, like, looking at a little emu down here. Yeah.
And you're trying not to be
amazing.
trying not to swear in front of him.
Because it's got elements of like action and stuff too. And I'm like doing Rambo. I've got the bullets on me. I'm like charging, like shooting off a gun. Yeah, I'm really excited. Like we shot it around Bendigo and that in the bush. And,
No shit.
Where's it coming out? Do you know?
I don't know exact dates, but early in the new year.
Yeah.
I think they're just working on special effects now, and yeah, cool. It's gonna be like split into episodes.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's exciting because I love doing that stuff.
How do you find acting coming from like a comedy background?
Yeah, I love it. It's my favourite, so I'm hoping to do more. Because actually, so with stand up, it's because it's a low entry point. I think a lot of people get into it.
Yeah.
And because you can just like, obviously, I've got a set and there's like local open mics.
Yeah, go to open mics. Yeah.
Not that I don't like stand up, but my favourite is probably like more a fan of movies and comedy TV series and stuff than I did like stand up, but more probably, you know, like I said, 90s boys. I grew up with like Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
Not sure if you guys know Chris Farley.
Yep.
No, the name.
Big
no,
fat guy.
Yeah.
All the SNL crew.
Yeah. I loved a lot of that.
Yeah,
Wayne's World.
Yeah.
All the
skit
classic
stuff.
Sandler stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you like
Happy
Sam
Gilmore.
Kinison?
Yeah.
I fucking got into him the other day. Actually, I was watching some of his sets, and he's great.
Yeah.
Fucking interesting comedian.
Yeah.
Like his style's
It was
unique.
a cool era. Pauly Shore and all that.
Yeah.
But so that's why I love it because it's like me getting to do my dream. But like I said, it's my favorite. But you just never think of it because it's like, well, I'm not gonna actually go to like acting school or anything. It just seems like a pipe dream, and like we're in Australia too, which is like small country, small industry. Yeah. It seems so far from you, but then I've gotten a few offers over the years, which is awesome. So I've really enjoyed it. So yeah, that's a big thing. If anyone's listening and needs an actor, get in touch. You know, I love it.
Get Gocsy on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that'd be sick.
I've done a few things for the bands, which is awesome. Yeah, it's like you said, Scared. Last Dinosaurs, that was fun. Yeah.
Oh, really?
They dressed me up as a devil. I had like the horns. And, it was really
I think
fun.
I saw that on Instagram. Yeah. That's pretty sick.
Yeah.
Would you ever do a feature, like a comedy feature?
Yeah, I'd love to. Yeah.
How do you go about that? You basically just hit someone up and say like, I've got a bit that I want to record. It's like a full hour or something.
Yeah, I think so. Like I could definitely look into it, but
okay.
my biggest problem, not a huge writer, so I'm scared of like burning, because a lot of comedy relies on surprise. So.
Fucking
true.
Not like
True.
you guys play the hits.
Yeah.
Special.
That's the
like
biggest.
Everyone sees it.
Yeah. That's my biggest jealousy of music. Like people want the hits.
Yeah,
that's
I'm
true.
sure they want your hits as well.
Yeah.
Like if you go up there and give them the fucking
Give them the hits.
classic stitch up
Yeah.
and stuff like that, they'd be all over it.
I said that once. I like got to a bit of the show. Like can't think of any requests. It was like someone's like, I'm like I can't even remember what I said. I try to remember it. Like some people go Simpsons voices. You know? Yeah.
You got any Simpsons voices you can do, or?
Oh, it's a bit of a. I'll try. It's a bit of a grind on the throat.
Oh, what do you?
Homer! Dope!
That's good as
Smithers.
But even that was funny because it was like I said, like it's not really a dumb thing to try jokes on other comedians, but you can do where you just do stupid stuff, say stuff to each other. So that would be a thing where I'd chatting with other comedian mates. And
Probably riffing as well,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Like you're
Yeah,
just sort of having a
exactly.
bit of a laugh and,
And,
fucking working it out.
Yeah. So it was a running gag I had was like, imagine if Simpsons were Australian sort of thing, and like,
Yeah.
yeah, and like also
What is it?
yeah, it was like also like bloody skateboard boy. You know?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, bloody cunt on the
But it's-
skateboard.
I hate to be I was there in the early days, but there is so many parodies now that it just feels oversaturated. It's like,
Of the
but back when I did it, it was fresh. Man.
Yeah.
But it was yeah. There's all these like, there was a big one. It was like people like what would it look like if they were humans? Have you seen that, or if they were real life?
Rings a bell.
Like
There's
Simpsons
Oh, the
characters.
Simpsons.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You can find them online, and
I
there's
think
all
I've
these
seen
like
them.
if they had human features, and yeah. You
No
can-
shit.
I think I saw it on. It went through Facebook recently.
Yeah.
Didn't it? Yeah.
There was, I think it was the British channel that shows The Simpsons reenacted the opening scene, and they
Yeah,
used
I've
like
seen that,
humans.
yeah.
Yeah,
No shit. I've seen it the other way where people become Simpsons, like happened to Violent Soho and stuff.
Oh,
I don't
they
know if
did the
someone
cartoon.
got it done, yeah, but it looks
Yeah.
like it's pretty sick. Like,
Yeah, I think you might be able to pay something and.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
and it
think
just
they got
happens.
an artist to do it for them. It's
it's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
so cool.
But yeah, Simpsons pretty awesome. Do you like
Yeah.
South Park?
Yeah.
What's your favorite
Not like-
sketch show?
Well, I grew up watching Full Frontal, which is 90s
Don't think I've heard that.
Australian. Yeah, but it's like so many. Like Eric Banner was on it, and he's like
Yeah,
kicked
yeah.
on to be.
He's
Is that
underrated.
where
Yeah.
like Poiter?
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was an incredible cast. 'Cause,
What?
like Sean McAuliffe was on it as
Yeah.
well. A few others.
Dude, how good was Thank God You Were Here? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Man, I was thinking about that the other
And,
day. There was an episode with like Hamish Blake on it, and he was I used to love him back in the
Yeah.
day, and he did the funniest fucking things ever.
Yeah,
Probably
he's
the
good
biggest kind of Aussie thing was probably like the Castle. That was
Oh,
awesome.
yeah.
That was a big influence on a
Yeah,
lot of people.
for
like-
sure.
That was a movie, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was definitely
Have you seen it? You gotta watch
Come
it.
on.
Definitely seen it. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's when he's. Is that the
Straight
one
to
where
the
he's got
forehead.
the airport and they're
Yeah,
trying to fucking
Yeah.
The funny thing is, so when I was living down here and I'd go to the airport, I always like park my car there
Oh,
next to the Essendon Bombers thing, and there's like a wave pool there now.
Yeah.
But in my mind, is like this is like the houses around there is like the castle, you know? Like
Yeah, and then they've demolished it for a wave pool.
Greg
yeah.
was saying once you walk to the airport. From,
Oh, man, that's
from
I'm-
Melbourne
I'm-
CBD or something.
I'm famous for this in the. Not famous, I'm joking. Famous amongst
Certain-
talking to like comics and artists, and
Yeah.
because like people can't believe it, and you know I don't look fit or over. I was fit, you know. I let myself go in recent years,
How
but
long did it
like when
take
I was
that?
younger, I was fitter, but I still do a lot of walks. I do a lot of walking, like.
Yeah.
So when I go to towns, I often walk from airports.
Oh, nice.
I'm being when I say famous, I've just been mucking around.
Yeah,
but,
Yeah.
but people
People know
so
about
like,
you doing it.
like when I went to Launceston, I said to people like locals there, and they're like, "What?" Like they can't believe it. Like
How
because
far is the hike from Lonnie Airport? to, like,
yeah,
town?
pretty far. Like that's what I'm fine. I should do a series like talking about
Fuck
airports,
yeah,
and stuff,
definitely.
airports of Australia. But it is interesting learning like where they are and distances, and like Sydney is one of the closest.
Yeah.
It's very close.
Fucking oath,
And
dude, you
then-
should do a potty.
Yeah.
Do a
I
podcast.
don't know
Hobart-
The walk-
Fuck,
the
we
walk
have
from
one
the
and you
airport.
don't.
Hobart, I was talking to someone about this the other day. Hobart, like several times I've walked but not done the whole thing because I've been picked up like a hitchhiker.
Yeah.
The last time I called an Airbnb, not Airbnb, Uber. Sorry, I can't remember all
Massive
the
house comes and picks
Yeah.
it
Or
up.
the big corporation.
mixing up my bloody apps. Yeah, I called Uber because just so I made the plane. But yeah,
Yeah.
but Hobart is really far. But
It is far.
That was big.
well, Melbourne, the other day, I started walking and I got on a tram at the end of the line. I don't know if you know Airport West.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was only
No,
about 4 k's from the airport.
Oh,
But
it's
still
not
a
too bad.
decent walk.
Yeah.
And then I got that into Carlton.
Melbourne's
The
ages
train-
away
the
from
train
a
line will
lot
be
of
built
places.
one
Like
day.
the Tullamarine.
Yeah, well, they're
the train
talking
line
about
will be built.
building a train, I think.
I think
but-
it's happening.
Is it happening, is it?
It's
It'll
happening.
probably take a
but
long
not
time.
not for about
Yeah.
a decade, I reckon.
Yeah, we won't see it for ages.
And it'll cost you arm and a leg. You might
There's
as well
also
use
an
the bus
airport
still.
in Cooey coming up soon, apparently.
Yeah.
Cooey.
Yeah.
Where's that?
Oh, that's like out in the sticks, kind of
Could be right.
where we're originally from, like
Oh, okay.
South East Melbourne. There's fuck all there.
Well, my dad's side of the family all from like southeastern suburbs of Melbourne. So even though I'm from
Whereabouts?
Brizzy, so my grandma lived in Carnegie,
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
my uncle in Bentley, so around there.
Yeah, no shit.
But that's so every year we would come to Melbourne like once a year. So but all I knew of Melbourne was those sort of southern suburbs.
Yeah.
And then when I moved here, I was living in Preston
Preston,
Reservoir,
yeah.
so got to know the north a bit more. So gradually adding more bits, yeah.
Yeah, connecting the puzzles.
Yeah, don't know too much
About this
out of East here. I know like Neighbours is from around here somewhere. And
I've
Oh,
heard
yeah.
that. I didn't know. I don't know where it is.
Dunwanning, which is
No
his suburb,
shit,
yeah.
really? I had no idea.
What's it?
Yeah.
Ramsey Street?
Ramsey Street.
Did
I
you
don't
say
know.
it's not actually called that. It's
It's a different name.
So they use outdoor shots of an actual street, but it's not called Ramsey Street.
Mm.
And then, little spoiler alert. Sorry to burst anyone's bubble, but I know like, the studios are actually the houses are just studios
Oh,
at Channel 10.
Dude, you
But
kidding.
that's also
You're
in a
joking.
similar area. Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
there you
you're
go.
Kidding me.
Bloody, do you see that it's getting picked up again? By
Yeah,
Amazon?
crazy.
The show
So-
goes on.
That's
it's kind of weird.
Well, it's because everyone's probably got jobs that they've had for like 20 odd years.
Yeah.
Did they need to bring back that, and they need to bring back Rove or something? They need
Rove.
like a late
Rove.
like
They
a,
just didn't want to let Toadie loose on society.
yeah.
Running amok.
Toadie running around asking for copies. Dude, I fucking would love, like, imagine if you got that late night show gig or something. It's just someone, like, to go in there
Yeah.
and just have a slot on Channel 9 at 9 o'clock or something. It'd be-
Yeah.
Do we really have any like Rove anymore? We don't.
No.
I think that's kind of in America. Obviously, it's super big, but I feel like those kind of shows are kind of gone by the wayside.
There's
So,
one
like,
on
Have you
ABC.
been paying attentions and all that kind of stuff, like the panel shows these days?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Way bigger.
There's definitely one on ABC. I've seen some musos go on and do live shows and stuff, but
Mm.
it's not to the magnitude
Yeah.
it was. It was fucking huge back in the day.
Recovery was sick when I was a young fella.
Recovery.
Yeah.
That's where I
Recovery was
first saw like Blink 182 and stuff.
I kind of
Shit.
miss that about like this period. Is that like ABC Saturday morning was just like you
Mm.
get that, and then you get video hits on the Sundays.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just like constantly sick music.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
On the tally. Whereas
Yeah. It's.
Don't really have
I was
it
talking
anymore.
with someone the other day about this, where streaming, where you can have something whenever you want it, is great,
Mm.
but you lose that element of like having to be home at 7 p.m.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also,
I'm not
like,
surprised.
They used to call it, I think it was like water cooler talk or the big thing Sunday night, and then because
Yes.
people would talk about it at work the next one.
Yeah.
No shit.
definitely, dude. And also,
You
like,
miss that with TV, like streaming.
So yeah, like I grew up with like quite a lot of stand up was on telly. So you know like Carl Barron.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
I remember in high school we would go the next day and everyone would be like reciting jokes and
Yeah.
lines. There's something cool about that, you know. Like,
definitely. Well, that was like The Simpsons. I remember going to school and we would, like, talk about the funniest quotes and stuff from The Simpsons
Mm.
previous light, you know?
hmm.
But yeah, you don't cop it anymore. But it's like that with music. Like, you don't really get any... Like, if an album came out back in the day and you bought it, you were forced to listen to the whole album because you couldn't bounce between songs on streaming services. And now it's like,
yeah.
you
Mm.
basically go, oh, yeah, I like that song. And then fuck
Yeah.
off,
The
go
art of
listen
the
to
album's
this
kind of
artist.
died a bit.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, well I was listening so my favourite band Mountain Goats, the singer John was on this pod recently and he was talking about actually the art of
Sequencing.
track listing, putting your certain
Tids-
songs in certain
Tids
parts.
is really big on that.
Yeah. He was like, go out with a banger.
Yeah,
Or some
sure.
people like leave the worst for last or whatever.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's interesting because I'm sure Tids has one point of view and then maybe there'd be another one. But, like,
Democracy.
yeah, it's sure there's like
Mm.
there is a formula for it. But Tids was saying like when he listens to an album and he gets all the demos back, all the mixes, he'll go on like a walk and he'll just listen to them over and over and over again and then just start like piecing them together. So there
Yeah.
is an art to it.
Mm.
It's just
Well,
how do you do it?
Hungry Ghost is
Got to be Tids.
testament. Yeah.
Well, I'm pretty bad for that because for my live show, like a lot comics know what to do,
Mm.
and so they're like start strong, finish strong. That's like a little rule.
Yeah.
I'm terrible at that because I'll go out with just a stinker of a. All right, thank you, good night. And then
That's what
like,
you guys in the corner the other night.
yeah.
Fucking bomb
Because I
that.
used to like, I hate. No, it sounds stupid. Like I'm not trying to be like purposely rebellious or anything, but I do kind of like hate hearing about rules. Like this is how it's done. So I kind of rebelled against that, and that found out it's to my detriment. There's a
maybe not.
reason people make rules, because they're like start strong, get them on side, finish strong. They remember your
Yeah,
show was
sure.
good.
Yeah.
So I do this shit where I go out with a stinker.
Well, they're gonna remember that.
But as well, like if you
Yeah.
walk off stage and,
Is
you, and you've bombed hard and you fucking laugh about it, they're gonna be like, respect.
It's probably
Yeah.
a bit of a touch of the anti-comedy going on again.
Yeah. It's like, all right then, good night. Thanks for having me. Just remember there was some good stuff earlier on.
I heard you laughing. I heard you
Literally.
laughing.
Well, it's like if you have a bad dessert, is that going to ruin the whole meal? Or, you know?
True.
That's true. It's like still enjoyed the chicken.
The main
Yeah.
course was beautiful.
Have you had any shows that you've bombed pretty bad on?
Oh, too many. But like I said, sometimes I don't like to make excuses, but it's more reasons. Reasons is a nicer word. than
Yeah, that's a
excuses.
better word.
The biggest, like one that sticks out, I did a Melbourne uni. It was like O Week.
Yeah.
Thing. So like I said, reason instead of excuse. I blame the age gap. Because I'm like double everyone's age. But yeah. So I was like, I went on, and then the band The Chats come on after, and they were like moshing to them.
Yeah.
So like,
It's so hard if you're
Yeah.
a comedy and then you go on to support a gig, to support an artist though, like a muso, because like they're different worlds.
yeah.
People probably don't get
I
it.
do think like the comedy clubs are good. They know how to set up seats and the stage and lighting and
Yeah.
like there is a kind of art to it. But I don't like to blame anything, but
No, it happens.
blame
Man.
the audience.
No,
It's
fuck
your
it.
guys' fault, not
It's
mine.
theirs. Yeah.
The
I was
jokes
in
are good.
top
You guys
form.
just don't fucking get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you play comedy week and stuff?
Yeah,
When it
like
comes down,
Bit empty.
yeah.
or whenever it pops up.
Yeah, just I like alternating between like traditional comedy things and then
Yep.
so like if it's out on a field or whatever.
Yeah.
Do
Yeah.
you ever do like home fucking birthday parties and shit?
Yeah, I do actually. I'm getting better at them too.
Or weddings
Like,
or something?
Yeah, I've done quite a lot of private gigs now, and they used to freak me out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've done some like last Friday I went to do this down in Gippsland area, and these guys are like they just booked me in because I put up a thing on my like Insta story where I was like I've got some spare dates, you know, because like for this trip, first I booked in the Fest in Verloc, then I booked Geelong, and then I'm like, oh that's pretty like at least I got two.
Yeah.
I'll try and do something else, and I was like, oh these dates are available. So someone contacted me. They're like, yeah, come and. They said, come and do our man cave. It was like on a farm. And like, the word man cave, you get images. I'm thinking like Holden, like whatever, like cars and shit. And like posters saying like, you know, like what happens with the boys stays with the boys. But it wasn't like that at all. Like, it was this farm and beautiful countryside. Went in this shed. And I was a little bit like the boys, the lads, but they were nice guys, like young
Yeah.
fellas too, like your sort of age.
Wasn't too blokey.
How many people?
I think there was like about 10 to 15, so like, very very intimate.
Yeah.
And they had this virtual golf thing
Oh,
where
yeah.
you actually hit the ball with a golf club and it comes up on the screen and
That's sick.
yeah, and it was, but like because I'm used to like you know a stage and mic, but this is just standing on the floor, no mic, a cappella. So yeah,
That's
but that
good.
stuff used to freak me out, but I'm getting more comfortable with it.
That's good.
That'd be the best kind of stuff, I reckon.
Yeah.
It'd be raw as hell.
You'd have some strange.
And it's
epic
good to have
nights.
that as an option too, of like
yeah. Bucks nights would be a good one, I reckon.
Yeah.
For sure.
Oh, we'll chuck your details into the comments and you can.
Yeah,
if
yeah.
Anyone wants to go? Hit him
Well,
up.
Dude,
I
Tommy,
did. Speaking of Bucks, a few weeks ago, Toby, the bassist from Skeggs, I did his Bucks. So BC and a couple of the other guys organised for me to be a stripper for him. And they tied him to the chair. I come out and I had my Angus Young costume from Halloween.
I
I
saw
saw
the
that, yeah.
Angus
Yeah,
Young,
so I
yeah.
come out. It was cool, you know, doing those sort of
That's
things.
fun.
Apparently, like, I would have not given any clue, but they didn't say me, but they told him a male stripper's coming.
Yeah. At least he had some
Should have said
warning.
not said that at all, but yeah, at least they didn't completely spoil. But I come out, did the strip for him, went fully Starkers as well.
Oh, nice.
I
dude.
sent this pic to my mate. Someone took a pic, and I sent it to my mate, and I was like, in the caption, I'm like, oh, you know, a bit of breeze, bit chilly. Well, not that I'm like, I'm just joking. I'm not competitive. I'm not like, it's a bit of a toxic masculinity.
Nah,
thing,
it's definitely a joke. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so good.
That sounds
Yeah.
He would have been paying big bike, like tips everywhere as well. He'd just be like, "Fucking
Yeah.
take my money."
Nah, like that was. It was like all his mates were there with a stoke because like see how happy he was too. He's a nice
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
So like,
That's awesome.
and I was like, I'm meeting all of his mates from when he grew up, and they're all like, you know, kind of like surfing groms and that.
Yeah.
That's
And
so
like
sick.
I don't know anything about the surf culture. I was like asking them like, so I grew up bodyboarding. Like, do you guys hate bodyboarders and like, boogie boarders? And it was interesting because they're telling me like, no, it's calmed down over the years a bit. I think it was like back in the day, there was a bit of
Used to hate
drama.
'em. Yeah.
Now it's like pretty cruisy.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was cool. Like just branching out was fun, different.
Fucking
things,
oath,
but,
man.
like yeah, like I said, I'm love just like acting, having fun, being a funny fella.
Yeah.
for sure.
But also, I used to be more, for the actual stand-up, I wanted to be, like, really respected, get a great review. I think that's why I freaked out at the Triple M guys thing.
Fair
and
enough.
then these days, I'm like, fuck yeah, you
It's a
know.
bit more
yeah.
like, yeah.
As
Fair
well,
enough.
like you can't always have a good one. You can have all your material there, and then just something happens and it derails you.
Yeah.
And you can't control it.
As long as your fans like, yeah, fuck the reviews. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
right.
that's it, man.
Got your niche.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
I mean.
That's it.
Oh.
Well, yeah, man, we might wrap him up.
Yeah,
Right.
well, thanks for the chat.
Thanks
Dude,
for coming down.
It's a
dude.
good, covered a bit of ground.
Yeah, no, it's
Got
awesome.
some
To,
deep shit
awesome
there.
to chat with you.
Yeah.
Do you want to promote? Do you want to anything to?
Anything else you want to plug?
You
Well,
got
I
any
guess,
wars?
like I said, yeah, just trying to keep busy, so book me in if you got anything.
If you got a birthday
Acting,
coming up,
stripping,
yeah,
actor / stripper.
Yeah, he
slash-
literally- girls and girls a stripper. I like that.
Yeah. just like to just like to be out there mucking around,
Fucking
funny
oath.
fella, yeah. But if you need a crowd surfer at your gig, you know,
We'll let you know, mate. We'll probably get you
MC
if
crowd
you,
surfer.
if you want. Yeah, get open
The
for us
works.
and
Yeah.
MC our nights and stuff if we ever do them.
Next
so.
summer up in Brizzy.
Yeah, appreciate you,
exactly.
Goxie. Thanks for coming in,
yeah,
man.
thanks,
Thanks,
dude. Cheers. Check out Emmy Awards too.
Yeah, Emu
Thanks,
was.
man.
It's coming out in a few months. Yeah,
Nice.
thanks.